I want to get to the essentials of this one because it is explosive. So I will get to it very quickly. Alonso is putting out a theory. Again, it's only one theory about Rinder being Osa. Why would we think this? Well, to understand that, we need a little bit of background with Kyle and his case of murder. I'm going to have to let Alonso lay out his hypothesis about who is being protected in Scientology.
Want to give up custody of their daughter. And so they threaten that custody of their daughter, or they threaten their job. They threaten whatever the target is protecting in order to coerce them into either doing what they want for them or shutting up and going away. So that's the protect button. Now this is very useful. This is how you identify an OSA agent. It's still difficult, but this is the route to take in your analysis.
Right. So the theory here is yes, Rinder left, but he's not doing anything to get David Miscavige in prison. Why not? Well, why would we think he has something? It's the case of Kyle. Who is Kyle? Kyle Brennan was a very young Baptist, and he he died in Clearwater, Florida. If you're just catching up, Clearwater is the headquarters of Scientology. So that already is very suspicious. He died in an apartment of his father, who was a Scientologist, called Thomas. And Thomas, when this alleged suicide happened, he called Denise Miscavige. Denise Miscavige is the sister of David Miscavige. In fact, they have to change their story several times because they initially put the time of them seeing the body when they were there. And then later they were like, oh no, we came in later. Now, why do we think Kyle was killed? Well, he died of a bullet to the head, although they could not find the bullet. There was nothing on his fingers or hands to indicate he used the gun. The gun did not have his fingerprints. And again, even though he was there to stay for a while, he never unzipped his bags or even got situated. It looks like Thomas, it's horrible, killed his own son and or Denise collaborated. And they covered up. I mean, the cover up is insane. The police just ruled it. Oh yeah, he died. No suicide note, but he died. Okay. And even the judges, when the family did press for wrongful death, dismissed the case. Scientology, they do have enough power to silence this kind of case. It's extraordinary, but they did it. But now we're going to turn to where is Mike Rinder involved?
I would use him to find Matteo Rossetti. Who is Matteo Rossetti? Well, Matteo Rossetti is the ethics officer who interviewed Tom Brennan, Kyle Brennan's father, in the weeks after Kyle Brennan's body was found with a gunshot wound to his head in his apartment. Matteo Rossetti did extensive interviews with Tom Brennan. He wrote reports that went up through Debbie Cook and up into Mike Rinder, and of course to David Miscavige.
Has Mike Rinder done things to endanger Miscavige? And what are the key things? One, he doesn't want to go to jail. He doesn't want to lose the tax exempt status, and he doesn't want to lose this global real estate empire. I will say honestly that third kind of leg, I don't think is that critical, but that's Alonso. However, the first two are definitely vital to Miscavige. He doesn't want to go to jail. He wants to keep the tax exempt status. If he was charged with murder, he would definitely be in danger. Is it possible that Rinder honestly just doesn't know this? Because remember, he left in 2007. 2007 is when this quote murder happened. But then you think to yourself, well, it's actually the opposite. This would be the best time, right? You just had David Miscavige's sister possibly commit murder. You're an OSA. You've done propaganda for years. You'd gather really sensitive information on this, then leave. You'd be in a really good negotiating position. Really good. Like life immunity. You're never going to get touched. They're never going to try anything against you because you could put it with a lawyer. If anything happens to me, this all comes out. Every little part. And David Miscavige will automatically go to jail. You cannot escape this. And he could have very easily communicated to them, if you touch me, this is coming out. So either he is saving this as a bargaining chip, or he honestly doesn't know, but he definitely knows something. So if he were an honest critic, you'd think, why aren't you talking about this all the time? He has talked about the tax exempt status. He has talked about real estate fraud. But Kyle, Alonzo's correct. I don't think Rinder has ever done a single thing on Kyle. Potentially very explosive. He's a big critic. He's on TV. He's been in these documentaries. Like, you think, oh, by the way, let's bring up Kyle. Huh, Mr. Miscavige could be guilty of murder. Nope. He just concentrated on Tom Cruise and Miscavige hitting him. Again, it's a negative conspiracy theory. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're being nuts. But yeah, the case of Kyle is very disturbing. And why Rinder has not talked about it is very, very odd.